All right, guys, we're back again. CABAL, episode 161. I didn't put the title in. I just realized it, but I think you guys don't care. You just want this show to start. This is appalling. I'm not making excuses for this. I'm not making excuses for this. It's one thing to be 5 to 10 minutes late by Pat Stedman standards, but this is ridiculous. But we're here. We're doing it. We are going to be doing it twice a week. We're doing it twice a week, okay? Today was just a mess. Calls really ran over, and then I'm like, fuck, I don't have any of my slides up. I hadn't, usually I have stuff stored throughout the week, so it's just right there. Didn't have all of it. Anyway, you guys are great. You guys are so patient with me. You come here for the energy. We're gonna have some energy. We got a big glass of wine. This is a Tejo, okay? From Portugal. As I mentioned before, Portuguese wine, very serviceable and very easy to get over here. But we got half an hour. And we're gonna do a good CABAL today. So, what I want to talk about is a few things. I realized on Sunday's CABAL that I missed. We were talking about a lot of cool stuff, okay, but on Sunday's CABAL, I missed talking about the 2020 election stuff. This is crazy. I think those of you guys, especially who have been longtime CABAL people, I gotta share some stuff first, okay? Because these Epstein files for us have been very edifying, haven't they? They've been very, very edifying. I really if you guys, any of you OGs watching right now, I'm not sure how many of you OGs are watching, but I mean, you can check on the CABAL channel now because I have salvaged every CABAL. I'm pretty sure. Like I said, I may have missed one or two in season 1.5. I never downloaded them from Twitch in time. I don't know. But I got pretty much the entire CABAL section, got the whole lineage, certainly in the first season, which is the more important one. And you can go. It's like one of the first 10 episodes, maybe one of the first 5 episodes. And what are they talking about? They're talking about we were talking about Wayfair furniture, right? How they were selling kids on Wayfair furniture. So people were buying furniture for huge amounts of money. And you guys remember this during COVID. Dude, we were being called schizophrenics for this stuff during COVID. We're looking at this. People are doing the due diligence. They're seeing where the stuff is going. They're seeing that they're trafficking kids on Wayfair, pretending it's furniture. We were called schizophrenics. Now, look at this. Look at this. Jeffrey Epstein's assistant bought a single unlabeled, $8,000 item from Wayfair. I mean, this stuff is crazy. It's just crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy how many things that we ID'd that are coming out now. Like the Pizzagate stuff, for instance, that's real. Now that was pre-2020, right? But they shot that kid who had they killed him pretty soon in the custody, didn't they? The guy who went to Comet Pizza. For the people who don't remember that, Comet Pizza and ping pong. This goes all the way back to the 2016 election, where James Alefantis, who is James Alefantis was he connected a campaign for he wasn't Podesta, but he was connected to Hillary Clinton's campaign. And they had Comet, pizza and ping pong. And the entire Instagram account was pedophilia, creepy art and stuff like that. It's very clear this was a pedo place, right? You know what I mean? And they did their whole, gaslight thing where anybody who believed in Pizzagate was a right-wing terrorist. And, and they had the person who went in there to try to do something about it. I don't know if they used him as a patsy or what. Yeah, exactly. Who are the Q-tards now? That's right. We're still Q-tards. We're still plan trusting. We're still plan trusting here. But I gotta say, it's been very surreal. It's been very surreal to see all this stuff come out as being accurate. Now, there are a few interesting things to discuss here. What I was going to say that, speaking of us being edified, 2020 election, Fulton County. This is big stuff, okay? And it's big stuff not just because they raided Fulton County, and this is late, you know what I mean? I didn't talk about this last show. We got caught up in other things. I forgot about it. But Tulsi Gabbard was there. So FBI is raiding Fulton County, digging into 2020 fraud. And Tulsi Gabbard is there. Now, DC Drano says this very correctly. Why would Tulsi Gabbard be there with an FBI investigation? Foreign interference in the elections. Absolutely. And not a coincidence the raid happened after we captured Maduro. I'm telling you guys, this house of cards is going to come tumbling down. The house of cards is going to come tumbling down. It's an inevitability at this point. But we are going to have to do something because there are still people out there who really don't know how to keep it together. I'm trying to see. I don't know if I actually added it here, but I've seen some people. I think I gotta add this here. Hold on a second. I'm gonna remove one of these, and then I'm gonna add another one here because this is important. Some of the stuff that I'm seeing here is pretty. This has to be added into the slide deck. Oh, maybe it's this actually. Maybe I have it right here. Hold on. Bear with me. Let me see here. This is it right here. I did have it. So you see this. Dissident West. Pack it up, boys. It's over. Because Trump says he is adjusting his mass deportations policy to only go into cities if the mayors or governors ask and say please, adding, I don't want to go and enforce ourselves into a city, even if their numbers are terrible. And look at this. Look at this guy. I've seen it with accounts all over, getting big amplified. Oh, it's over. Oh, God, it's over. Trump, he's betrayed us. He's betrayed us again. He's betrayed us. He can't stop betraying us. We can't handle it. It's all over. All it took was a few Marxist cry bullies to completely halt the political agenda that 72 million people. We're betrayed again. We should have voted for Kamala. I'm not going to get into this whole thing calling these people faggots. I've done this already. Okay. Let's just call them weak. Okay. Let's just call them weak. Let's just call them, they don't get it. How do you continue to take this stuff at face value? I can go back 6 months ago, less, 4 months ago, 5-6 months ago, right? Remember they had the whole H-1B thing? Trump's cucking on H-1Bs. He's actually going to let H-1Bs in the country. First everybody thought it was like $100,000 per H-1B. It's over for H-1Bs. Then it was, okay, no, it's only ones coming in. Oh, we got betrayed again. Trump's betrayed us. And that turns out what? That they're destroying it administratively. No H-1Bs can get into the country anymore. They've made it impossible for them to get their renewals. Now, people are saying, Trump betrayed us, but he has to get this through Congress. So Trump's actually destroying it through what he can do, which is the government bureaucracy. Okay? And now we find out, right, that people with those SBA loans, all those people, all those Indians, mostly Indians, to be blunt, who were scamming on it in the country, with gas stations and hotels, etc., that now it can't be transferred to permanent residence. You have to be a citizen. That's stripped it away from tons and tons of people. Oh, but we're losing. I'm going to tell you exactly what this is, okay? He's giving them enough rope to hang themselves. This is what this is. Does anybody actually think that Trump, do you really think Trump's just going to say, yeah, okay, blue cities can do whatever they want? he is going to let this play out. He's going to let it play out because the risk, if you don't let it play out, is civil war. The good news is that while this is happening, he is screwing them on the financial front. So they are going to have to intensify things. I'm telling you guys, we absolutely need to chill. We have to chill about like Trump, this whole like Trump betrays us, Trump betrays us, Trump's not going to do anything, Trump's listening to the Marxists. You guys really have to be just fucking retarded. I really think they are fucking retarded. How can they be anything but fucking retarded when you see how much they're getting pushed back constantly, maneuver after maneuver? They don't like, they know how, like, you see how Trump negotiates, you see how Trump plays with deception, how he says one thing, then he does something else, how he's constantly throwing people off, and you still fall for it every fucking time. Somebody who has been on the political scene for over a decade, and you still fucking fall for it, you fucking retard. But these guys are bait accounts. They're doing it to get the, you know, if I'm going to be charitable, they know the doomer slop. The doomer slop gets them some Elon bucks. So they go after it. I swear, guys, lock it up. Lock it up. It's so like Tim Walz backing down. The police are going in and arresting everybody. Let me see. I got something in here. I got something I didn't scan. I gotta put this one up though. This will be a good one. Here's a good one. Oh, here's a good one. Here's a good one. How we're losing. Trump's losing. He can't stop losing. Yeah, here's one. Here's another great. Here's a great one. Oh, okay. Every single person in the Stop ICE movement doxing people, every single one of their accounts, 112,000 people in the movement, they've all been collected by the intelligence agencies. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. No, but we're losing. What can you do? What can Trump do against Tim Walz? If Tim Walz decides to let riders on the street, he can't do anything now because he said this statement to some guy on television. It's over. Faggot. All right, let's move on. It's like, why waste the breath on this stuff? These guys, like, I'm telling you, I made a joke about this, but these guys are going to be putting out this doomer slop all the way into Trump's third term. Trump runs for a third term. He's going to change the Constitution. He's going to sweep the midterms. Trump's going to be crowned emperor, and they're going to say, "Oh, but the mayor of Pasadena says he's not going to support Trump doing anything. So what's Trump going to do about that? Yeah, what's he going to do about that? We're going to do about you." People absolutely cooked. I swear to God. All right, let's see what else we got here. What else we got in the portfolio here? Let's see what else we got. Here's something interesting. Here's an enigma, a thing that many people could not suss out. I'm not saying I sussed it out. I didn't put a lot of thought into it, but I admit that I thought it was a bad decision when Trump, remember Steve Bannon had been like a big populist nationalist voice, right? He has a show, and Steve Bannon had some initial contact into the Trump White House in the first term, and then he got sidelined, got kicked out. And the perception was that Trump did this because Trump, the establishment people got Trump's head. Trump abandoned the base. And I think, to be honest, I mean, I'm a plan truster. I'm not like crazy plan truster in the sense that it's very obvious that Trump made mistakes in the first term. I don't know how you can whitewash that. And I think if we have to be like real here, let's take a step back and view Trump not through the lens of some, Q plus, perfect genius military operation, whatever thing. Let's actually view it through the lens of a general in a war. Okay, let's think of him like a Napoleon. Okay, did Napoleon win every battle? No, Napoleon actually ended up losing. Right, you could say he did lose in the end. But even when he was winning on the ascent, did he ever lose battles? Did he ever make mistakes? Of course he lost battles. Of course he made mistakes. Okay. Even victories sometimes had massive casualties, like the Battle of Eylau, battle on the ice, right? Against Prussia, Battle of Smolensk. I mean, even the Battle of Borodino, like these were all like outside of Moscow, right? These were wins, but were they strategic wins? Okay, but just because anyone who says Trump hasn't made mistakes, Trump hasn't lost, and we don't necessarily, because of the nature of this war, we don't always know where he lost and what was a strategic deception. Someday maybe we will know. We don't know yet. Okay, but what I will say is this: is that Trump got rid of Bannon for a good reason. So Bannon and Epstein were friends. You can see this right here. And there's a lot of these messages. It's not just like a random off message. I have Kudlow and Bolton in there. That's what Bannon is saying to Epstein. Okay. There's been some Kudlow is still in Trump's administration right now, and there's been some mixed messages on him. Bolton, though, we know is a piece of shit. So square this circle, right? Bannon's the populist nationalist against the neocons. Bolton's the biggest neocon out there. But Bannon put Bolton in the White House. Sounds like Bannon was an agent. That's what it sounds like to me. Sounds like an agent. How many of them are out there? How many of them are out there pretending to be nice, right? Pretending to be good guys, pretending to be on our side when they're not actually. It's kind of like a black pill in some sense, because Bannon, Bannon went to prison even, right? I don't know what the deal is. But not everybody is who they seem. And we don't know that. We have to have a little bit of humility because we don't know it. We don't know that. We don't know. We don't know everything that's going on. But I wanna like really emphasize here that the 2020 election stuff is inevitably coming out. And Tom Luongo had a good theory, and I don't know if he's correct about this, because again, I don't know if Trump was making some mistakes, but his theory is that the only reason the Epstein stuff came out now is because Trump had given offers multiple times for surrender, and dropping the Epstein stuff was a massive escalation. I don't know if I 100% agree with that, in the sense that I think there is maybe this ongoing, I had floated this earlier, right? I'd floated this possibility earlier, that the reason that Trump went to release the Epstein files, but then it was all like redacted binders. But all it was, but the reason for that is that someone at the last minute decided to cooperate. I think he's been using it as leverage. And maybe we're saying the same thing, but it's like, I'm going to use this. Are you going to play ball? I'm going to use this. Are you going to play ball? it wasn't the strategically opportune time to release them that early, but maybe he wanted to scare people into doing it. If you view it through that lens, there's something about it that makes sense because it also shakes out again, and Trump's all about this, who's loyal to him and who isn't. By putting the Epstein files out for release and then pulling them back, he gets to see what all the various influencers are saying. He gets to see who sticks by him, who goes immediately on attack saying he's a bought and sold asset. Maybe who has opinions, right? I wonder about some of those things. I wonder about when he gave those influencers coins and stuff like that at the White House. I wonder if he was trolling them. I wonder if he was playing with them. I wonder about that. Elaborate on this for me. They don't mention any sane leader, but Trump seems like a threat to me. What do you mean? Fill me in on this. What you mean? If they don't like Trump, tell them don't worry, things should get better in his third term. That's right. That is absolutely right. And this is correct. On Trump's end, Trump is telling the libs what they want to hear in the mainstream, then doing the opposite in reality. And this is the thing, though. It's like, but these guys on the right, so to speak, they're addicted to it. They're addicted to losing. It's the cuck chair. They love the cuck chair. They love getting betrayed and humiliated. Okay, whatever. Let's see. I got a few other things here. Did I do this one? What's this one? Yeah, here's another one. Throwback to 2020. Remember this, guys? COVID Cabal season 1? When Brian Kemp's daughter's boyfriend got blown up in a car, when all that pressure was on the and then the FBI special agent investigating it died at his home. Guys, there was like, I swear, like, I look back and I understand why I went nuts. I understand why I was like, I'm going to the fucking Capitol building. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. Like, this is the kind of shit, like, I forget to some extent because I've been through so much, but this is the kind of shit I'm watching. I'm watching them literally, like, when the governor of Georgia is starting to, like, waver and admit that they stole the state, which would have led to the entire flipping of the election, that they blow up his daughter's boyfriend. And then they kill the agent who starts to, like, investigate it and find out things aren't, this is the kind of stuff we were dealing with in season 1 COVID Cabal. It's all in the files if you guys want to go check it out. You're going to find a COVID Cabal talking about it, if not more. Man, it was wild. It was wild, the kind of stuff we were going through, the gaslighting we were going through. Now, there's 2 more things I wanted to show here. Let me see here. That's not important. That's just a monologue. Frederick Dodson's a cool dude. Frederick Dodson's got great books on energy. Really, it's like him and David Hawkins, best books on energy and consciousness. And he was asked if his mind has changed about Trump at all. And I think it's worth saying this out loud. I want to repeat it because I think he said it in a really great way. Trump is the guy who, with Robert Mueller, worked as an FBI informant to infiltrate the Epstein organization. Trump and his administration got Epstein arrested. Trump is the guy who referenced Pizzagate in 2012, years before anyone knew the term. Remember we talked about Pizzagate earlier in the show. That was 2015, 2016, remember? 2016 is when Pizzagate became public, so we talking about 2012. Trump is the guy who set up the Q post that announced what was going on for several years and is now confirming these posts on his Truth Social account. All the administration's Q posting, right? Trump is the guy that got people like Nicki Minaj and other celebrities to come clean. Nicki Minaj, by the way, guys, I don't know if you saw this, but she was talking about the trafficking of children as well in Hollywood. Nicki Minaj is like COVID Cabal right now. Strange allies over time, isn't it? Okay. Trump is the guy who banned Epstein from Mar-a-Lago. This is why Epstein and his large empire were and are Trump haters. In a 2001 article published by the Evening Standard London, Prince Andrew, Bill Gates, and Donald Trump are referenced as friends of Epstein. Donald Trump has acknowledged knowing Epstein many times, saying he cut ties with him in 2008. Not a single Epstein victim has issued a sworn testimony that accuses Trump. Sworn testimonies do accuse many other celebrities, politicians, and global players that the MSM and its hive mind followers don't seem to be as interested in as Trump. Trump is the public face of an operation that has been going on for more than 20 years, actually for hundreds of years, run by military intelligence and targeting the cabal. Trump is, without the cabal having been defeated by them, we would not have RFK Jr. taking down Big Pharma. We would still have extreme censorship on social media. People would still believe fake news. We'd still be following the old food pyramid. We'd still be putting soldiers' boots on the ground in the Middle East. We'd still be letting the cartels rule our states under the guise of immigration. We'd continue to send trillions of dollars to China and Iran. We wouldn't soon quit sending trillions to Israel and Ukraine. We'd still be fleeced by other countries. We'd still have MK Ultra. Sorry, I forget what that means. And child sex trafficking on our streets. And finally, Trump recently released 3 million Epstein files by all the morons focused on Trump as enemy in our interest so that the good guys can do the work in the background unimpeded. Right? I mean, I could not say it better than Frederick Dodson said it. I just don't even get how you can. There have been so many good things that have happened. I can tell you this, as I say that, we are now looking in a country like Spain that they are now censoring X. They are now en route. I'm gonna put this out here too. I think I actually have this, but let me just do it again. Let's put this up for you guys so you can see this now. All right. This is the prime minister who just legalized and set on course for naturalization 500,000 people plus their families, illegal immigrants. Starting next week, my government will implement the following actions. First, we will change the law in Spain to hold platform executives legally accountable for many infringements taking place on their sites. Second, we will turn algorithmic manipulation and amplification of illegal content into a new criminal offense. Third, we will implement a hate and polarization footprint system to track, quantify, and expose how digital platforms fuel division and amplify hate. The fuck? Fourth, Spain will ban access to social media for minors under the age of 16. Platforms will be required to implement effective age verification systems, not just checkboxes, but real barriers that work. Fifth and last, my government will work with our public prosecutor to investigate and pursue the infringement committed by Grok, TikTok, and Instagram. So these guys are just our enemies. They're our enemies, okay? But this is what it's like. And it was going this way under Biden. The only reason it didn't get to be this extreme is because in America, we still have what's left of the Constitution. But in these other countries, they don't have that, so they can go full speed ahead. If Kamala had won 2024, I would have gone back into prison. And you would have seen mass censorship and arrests across the entire country. That's what would have happened. Trump's whole family would have been arrested. You have no idea how evil these people are. So when I hear like, oh, things could be so much like Trump's betraying us, Trump is, you guys are just like, these guys just don't have a clue. The Bolsheviks are getting desperate. And it is very dangerous times, but we are winning. We are absolutely winning. Now, before we head off for today, I'm going to throw one more thing out there for you from the little curveball. We're going to be talking about this more in the coming weeks, but there's always multiple reasons for things happening. But you guys have probably noticed that the weather has been very, very strange, very, very harsh this winter. But I think what's been interesting about the harshness of the weather has been that it's been cold over Europe or like Siberia, right? And North America at the same time. Now, of course, it's always cold in the north, but what I mean is like super, super cold. We've had super, super cold in Europe and super, super cold in America. That's not normal. Now, in a healthy polar system, the pole is constrained in a certain just in the Arctic area, and the jet stream is stable. Now, what had been happening for many years is the jet stream was wobbling. So what would happen was that it was almost as if the pole would move and dip down over North America. And then what would happen is Europe would be a lot more mild. I pay attention to this for years. And then when the weather got cold in Europe, it would be much more mild in America. But this year, it's been cold over both. It's almost like there was like a split. Okay. So look at this. This is interesting. The pole isn't wobbling off center. The center itself is in motion, and the question is whether it stops or whether we're witnessing the early kinematics of an axial excursion. We have no precedent for this, how long the system can maintain an okay, whatever, this is all technical terms. But the point is that the pole is not stable anymore. The pole is not stable anymore. And for a period this winter, we actually had like the pole split into two to some extent. Like the polar center was gone, and it was one was over Europe and one was over America. And I think what this portends potentially, people have talked about this in esoteric circles for a long time, but what it portends, if this is correct, is a pole shift. You go back to all the cataclysms in the past, and they were all related to pole shifts. This is a very popular area of esoteric history. So this is interesting. I'm just going to leave it on here. We're going to close off for tonight. We'll resume on Sunday. But it's very interesting to think about how there's a race for the Arctic. There's a race for America to get Greenland, to get Canada. Every country wants access to the Arctic. Do the governments know something that we don't know? Is the Arctic about to become a much more pleasant place to live because there's going to be a pole shift? I don't know. And I'm not claiming this is accurate, but it's worth considering because there are no coincidences, and the pole stuff is very serious. You know, the whole global warming thing, was that just a whole that became climate change, but they blamed it on, fossil fuels. How much of that was actually related to what they really knew was going on, that there was a bigger polar, instability. Now, whether this is just normal, little ice age, whatever, because we have the Mihalovich cycles, the sunspot cycles, but the magnetic pole is not stable anymore. And we know for a fact throughout the Earth's history, the poles flip every so often. The spinning slows and slows and slows, and then it flips. It goes the other direction. And the planet will flip like that at the time. And that's responsible for things like the mudslides, etc. Spooky. Anyway, guys, don't be afraid. We're going to make it. Don't worry about it. We'll see what happens. I love you all. Have a great weekend. I will see you Sunday, Kova Cabal. I won't be that late. I won't be late, okay? I'll see you guys Sunday, Kova Cabal. Love you all.